Was really. Meghan shared that bedside twerking video taken shortly, apparently, before she gave birth to Lilibet. Remember the child that she named after the Queen's private nickname that was given to by Duke of Edinburgh without getting permission.
If Queen Elizabeth were still here, she might have needed a stiff gin after this one. Meghan Markle has once again proven that when it comes to rewriting royal rules, she doesn't just bend them, she drop-kicks them in a pair of maternity leggings. The Duchess of Sussex is in hot water again, after a now viral video dropped jaws around the world, and not in the glamorous Hollywood kind of way. Let's just say everyone was scandalized. On what should have been a sweet, wholesome celebration for little Princess Lilibet's 4th birthday, Meghan decided to change things up and post something wildly unexpected. We're talking about a clip of her heavily pregnant, full-on twerking. Yes, twerking. While Prince Harry goofily joined in with the so-called baby mama dance.
Because it was so utterly ridiculous, and I'm very old-fashioned. I'm afraid I'd never heard of twerking. It seemed to me that it had all the elements of contradiction which we see so often.
It was meant to be cute, maybe even funny, but it landed like a lead balloon. And while the internet had its say, it's the behind-the-scenes royal reaction that's truly shaking things up. According to Daily Express and the ever-blunt Maureen Callahan of the Daily Mail, palace insiders are horrified by Meghan's latest stunt. One royal source dished that King Charles and Queen Camilla were left aghast. There's a general sense they've completely lost it, one insider spilled.
Tell you Meghan Markle can finish that sentence. It is so unroyal. And I know that this is something that was trending a few years ago. Classic Meghan, a day late and a dollar short.
But here's where things get even messier. Word on the street is that some of Meghan's A-list besties are backing away. After all, aligning with a duchess caught twerking online while the monarchy rolls its eyes, not exactly brand safe for those who've built their empires on grace and glam. It seems like Meghan's inner circle is getting smaller by the minute. Some say it's because the drama just keeps following her around like a shadow. Others believe it's the constant clash between royal dignity and reality TV energy that's finally making her too hot to handle, even for Tinseltown. Of course, when it comes to the video, Meghan's critics wasted no time tearing into it. Columnist Maureen Callahan ripped into her, pointing out how far the Duchess has strayed from anything remotely royal.
I think the objective is exact. I think it's a huge FU to the royal family.
For someone who married into centuries of tradition, the move was baffling, and for many, downright humiliating. Royal expert Jenny Bond took it a step further, suggesting that if King Charles laid eyes on the video, he would be absolutely horrified. According to Bond, royalty isn't just a title, it's a responsibility, one that Meghan seems increasingly eager to toss aside whenever it suits her brand. She slammed the couple's ongoing hypocrisy too, demanding privacy on one hand, while flaunting their most private moments on the other. Birth is one of the most sacred, vulnerable times in a woman's life, and Meghan chose to turn it into a viral dance routine.
Than the Prince and Princess of Wales, but I think that it's all about spectacle. I think it's almost shameless. It's less about substance, which is what we do get from the Prince and Princess of Wales.
What's interesting here is that Prince Harry had already dropped a major breadcrumb about the moment in his tell-all memoir, Spare. According to Hello magazine, he painted a vivid picture of the lead-up to Princess Lilibet's birth. Instead of royal silence and stiff protocol, it was burgers from In-N-Out, mountains of fajitas, and a dance party in the delivery room. Harry revealed he was laser-focused on making sure he was the very first face baby Lily saw. He described how her birth was a world away from the tension and tight-lipped formality surrounding Prince Archie's arrival in 2019, with no senior royals breathing down their necks and no palace aides barking orders. This time around was personal, and Meghan made sure it was unforgettable. Still, even with all eyes on her, Meghan stayed mum about the viral bump-shaking moment. That is, until now. In a sizzling sneak peek of her upcoming Aspire podcast interview with Dragon's Den mogul Emma Greta, Meghan finally gave the world the inside scoop.
Did feel authentic. Did you see my baby mama dance?
I mean, stop it. First of all, can I just tell you, the timing of that.
She explained that the twerking clip wasn't staged, wasn't scripted, and definitely wasn't royal approved. It was real, her real life, her real joy, her real moment. She reflected on how important it had become to live and share her life on her own terms, not under the suffocating lens of the firm.
There's still a whole life, a real, authentic, fun life that's happening behind the scenes. I'm just grateful that now, being back on social as well, I have a place where I can share it on my own term.
Now Greta, still visibly hyped about the video, admitted she and her team watched it 20 times the day before, as Meghan broke into uncontrollable laughter. Gret didn't hold back her admiration. That version of Meghan, silly, glowing, totally in her element, was the one the world had barely seen.
But I think it's... But that's you, right? Like, that's you in a way that we kind of haven't been able to see you before. And I did like a little secret cheer because I was like, well, that's what I kind of want to see from you.
And that's exactly what Meghan delivered. Just as Meghan was reclaiming her joy, though, former fangirl Catherine Ryan was already lining up a takedown no one saw coming. Ryan was once one of Meghan Markle's loudest cheerleaders. Back in 2022, the sharp-tongued comedian was practically fangirling, telling the Daily Mail how much she adored Meghan's confidence and her courage to shake up tradition. At the time, Ryan was all in on Team Sussex, but oh, how the tides have turned. Fast forward to 2025, and Ryan has done a complete 180. On her podcast, Telling Everybody Everything, the comedian delivered a spicy take on Meghan's brand new Netflix lifestyle show, With Love, Meghan. And let's just say, the love is gone. Ryan didn't mince words, questioning the very essence of Meghan's image. I don't think she's a bad person, she admitted. She added, but I think she likes cozying up to celebrities. She wants the $100 million deal. And she likes the fact that she's married to a prince, and that was just the appetizer. Ryan dove deep into Meghan's ever-changing narrative, pointing out how the Duchess's childhood anecdotes seem to flip-flop depending on the audience. In one episode of her show, Meghan claimed her family lived off TV dinners, a stark contrast to past interviews where she boasted about their always farm-fresh meals. Even Meghan's own half-brother shared in contradictions.
Growing up poor and underprivileged was the complete opposite. I mean, that's just another one of the malarkey stories she sold to the royal family.
Ryan called the inconsistency manicured and forced, suggesting Meghan's public persona might be more performance than truth. But perhaps the most intense accusation was when Ryan implied that Meghan may have fabricated her claim of knowing nothing about the royal family before dating Prince Harry.
Now, of course, she lied about never having Googled Harry when she gave an interview early on. We know from her friends that's not true, that she was very focused on the royals and had visited Buckingham Palace.
It's a theory that's floated around gossip circles for years, but hearing it from a former Meghan stan like Ryan hit differently. The shift was striking. Just as Ryan peeled back Meghan's carefully crafted stories, another high-profile fallout was brewing. It started with flirty DMs and shared love for Suits, but it ended with one of TV's most explosive on-air betrayals. Piers Morgan once thought he had a budding friendship with Meghan Markle until she ghosted him, and he never let the world forget it. During a headline-making 2018 appearance on The Late Late Show, Morgan spilled all the tea about how Meghan had slid into his Twitter DMs before she became royalty.
And the moment I follow Meghan Markle, I get a direct message from her saying, oh my God, I'm such a big fan, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, very nice. Start to correspond with her.
The two hit it off instantly. She even sent him early episodes of Suits, knowing he was a fan of the legal drama. From there, their chats flowed, leading to a real-life meetup for drinks in London. According to Piers, they laughed, they connected, and he genuinely thought they were friends. But little did he know that same evening, Meghan was on her way to meet Prince Harry, and that was the last time he ever heard from her.
Who would know that what a fateful night that was, because she went from me here to her first proper date with Prince Harry.
She ghosted me, Morgan said flatly, clearly still stung. I really liked her. But Piers being Piers, the bitterness didn't end there. Over the years, the former Good Morning Britain host used nearly every microphone in reach to go after Meghan, especially after she and Harry became the royal family's ultimate wild cards. Morgan claimed the Duchess dropped him because, in his words, she's a slight social climber.
I really liked her. This is why it hurts. No, I really liked her. I just think she's a slight social climber, I'm afraid.
And that wasn't just speculation. He doubled down in an interview with Access Hollywood, alleging that he'd heard from several of Meghan's former friends who shared similar experiences. To me, it raised a few alarm bells, he said. She was prepared to just cut people.
To me, it raised a few alarm bells that she was prepared to just cut people. She did it to her ex-husband. She's done it to almost all her family.
He even warned that if he were part of the royal family, he'd find that behavior more than a little troubling. What started as casual drinks and exchange Suits episodes has now unraveled into one of the most bitter public fallouts in royal-adjacent history. By 2021, Piers Morgan wasn't just shading Meghan Markle. He was waging a full-blown war.
Honestly, I don't think anyone's ever had better press coverage than these two until the wedding. And then when she disowned her dad, and they started bleating on about, the environment and getting private jets all the time, well, they got criticism.
After Meghan and Prince Harry dropped that explosive Oprah Winfrey interview, Morgan completely turned on his alleged former friend.
They couldn't cope
in
with
their
the
California
toxic
mansion
nature of
garden,
the criticism.
spewing their guts to Oprah Winfrey whilst banging on about intrusive media. You couldn't make...
Live on Good Morning Britain, he raged against Meghan's claims of racism within the royal family and her heart-wrenching confessions about thoughts regarding taking her own life.
Because the moment it got critical, they reacted incredibly badly, and then it was racist, toxic media. Well, they weren't racist and toxic until the wedding, were they? They were incredibly supportive of them, actually.
He said, point blank, that he didn't believe a word of it. His blistering on-air tirade became the most complained about TV moment in Britain that year, according to the BBC. But even as public outrage reached a fever pitch and GMB bosses showed him the door, Morgan refused to back down or issue an apology. He stood by every word, insisting he was simply calling out what he believed to be lies. Meanwhile, Meghan was dealing with another bombshell behind the scenes, and this one came from a place even closer to home. Tom Bower, the royal biographer behind Revenge, recently revealed some eyebrow-raising details about Meghan's early days with Harry. According to Bower, Meghan wasn't exactly giving off Buckingham-approved vibes. She reportedly handed out unroyal high fives, signed autographs, agreed to selfies, and hugged fans in public, all while dressed in what insiders deemed inappropriate clothes. With Harry egging her on, Meghan seemed completely unbothered by tradition or royal protocol.
The monarchy, which of course was the downfall of Meghan in Britain, that she wanted to be number one. She didn't want to be part of a team.
But the real drama came from Meghan's own former business partner, Gina Nelthorpe-Cowan, who reportedly tried to warn her about diving headfirst into royal life. You see, before the palaces, the tiaras, and the $100 million deals, Meghan Markle had a small, tight circle of trusted friends, and Gina Nelthorpe-Cowan was once at the heart of it. But like many relationships in the Duchess's past, this one didn't survive the crown, and now more pieces of their fractured friendship are spilling out. According to royal biographer Tom Bower, Meghan and Harry's 2018 visit to a homeless shelter in Edinburgh became the quiet stage for a not-so-quiet snub. Gina, who had been invited to join the royal walkabout as a guest, was told to stand with Meghan. But when the Duke and Duchess arrived, things took a sharp and telling turn. Instead of guiding her toward Meghan's group, aides reportedly steered Gina toward Prince Harry. Confused, she approached the Duke and asked what was going on. His response was absolutely nothing. Then, as Gina attempted to walk toward Meghan, she was physically blocked by a palace official. For someone who had once helped shape Meghan's career and offered her business advice, the move stung. But the tension between the two had apparently been brewing long before that chilly moment in Scotland. In fact, Gina had already dished on her falling out with Meghan back in a 2020 tell-all with the Mail. According to her, the beginning of the end came when she dared to question whether Meghan was truly prepared for life inside the royal machine. At the time, Meghan was head over heels for Harry and already fantasizing about a royal proposal. Gina, concerned for her friend's well-being, tried to gently warn her about the unrelenting pressure that came with being Harry's girlfriend, let alone his wife. But Meghan wasn't having any of it. That moment, Gina said, was when everything changed. Just 2 years later, Meghan and Harry would walk away from the royal family altogether, and Gina, like many others from Meghan's past, would be permanently cut from the picture. But Gina was just the start. Soon, even A-listers like the Beckhams began backing away.
They think, i.e. Harry and Meghan, that the Beckhams were leaking stories about them, which has supposedly sent David Beckham into a bit of a tiswas because he's angry about that.
Once Hollywood's golden royals, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had found themselves at the center of a frosty fallout. By 2024, the couple struggled to repair their fractured public image and rebuild relationships with estranged loved ones. It was then that whispers grew louder that some of their A-list friends were done playing along. Why? Their relentless public attacks on the royal family seemed to have crossed a line, and some stars weren't willing to get caught in the crossfire. According to insiders, the couple's former pals were increasingly horrified by what they saw as calculated attempts to damage the monarchy's reputation, all while playing the victims. And leading the pack of those allegedly pulling away were David and Victoria Beckham. The Beckhams, who had attended Harry and Meghan's lavish 2018 wedding and supported them publicly during the height of Megxit, were now said to be deeply unimpressed.
We also know that there's no longer any love between the Beckhams and the Sussexes, despite the fact that the Beckhams were invited to the Sussexes' wedding.
Royal commentator Richard Eden didn't mince words when he spilled on Palace Confidential, claiming the once close friends had grown cold and distant. He added that, for the Beckhams, family meant everything. They were famously close to their parents, loyal to their roots, and deeply private when it came to domestic matters. Watching Meghan and Harry lay bare royal grievances on global television reportedly left the couple horrified. horrified. Eden explained that after speaking with associates of the Beckhams, it was clear the public family takedowns clashed with the former footballer and Spice Girls' core values. The Beckhams' quiet retreat echoed what had become a growing pattern. Harry and Meghan's inner circle seemed to be shrinking as their royal criticism grew louder. Once hailed as the Queen of Woke Hollywood, Meghan Markle was now watching her Hollywood glow dim, and it just keeps getting worse.